love, crimson blood, poison, eternity, revenge, two, sacrifice, mother, ritual, scarlet, prayers, heresy, hell, solitude, clouded sky, madness, God of words, adore us.
Drakengard Scares Me, and that's really all I can say about this game other than disturbing. There's never been a game or a TV show that has made me feel uneasy unlike Drakengard. The story is so good, but so fucked up at the same time. The characters are the absolute worst kind of people you can think of. I mean, seriously, you'll learn later on in the video. And ever since I started playing NieR, I fell down the rabbit hole of Drakengard. The game is really weird, the characters are scum, the plot and lore is actually really good. Basically, all you could expect from the man, the myth, the legend, the GOAT, Yoko Taro. To me, Drakengard is an awful, disgusting masterpiece of Yoko Taro. Although the game isn't very mechanically good, I think the story makes up for it. Ever since I finished NieR Automata and started Replicant, Drakengard kinda has this soft spot in my heart for video games, and I'd like to share it to you. As I've stated in the beginning of the video, there will be a lot of things that I'm going to be talking about that may be uncomfortable to a lot of people, so if you are, I would suggest not watching this video. This video is going to be, it's going to be real. I'm going to talk about a lot of things, and this might honestly be one of my favorite videos I've ever made, as I'm recording this. But I guess that's it, and let's dive into Drakengard.
We must find you a place to rest.
Allow him to bathe in her gratitude and love.
I truly love Furiai with my innermost soul!
The goddess will die.
No, that's not true. You lie.
No more gods! We are free!
At me.
The story of Drakengard takes place in the world of Midgard. The main character, Caim, is a prince that hates dragons, but in order to survive to save his sister Furiai, the goddess of Midgard, he makes a pact with a dragon, Angelus.
Tell me, do you still want to live, dragon?
What?
A pact! There's no other way!
What makes you worthy of a pact with me?
Worthy or not, I wish to live. Despise me if you will, but I shall not die. Your answer, a pact or death?
Caim gives up the ability to speak. He gives up his voice in order to survive. The story seems pretty basic, but I haven't even scratched the surface of the lore of Drakengard. In this game, there is a war going on between the Empire, which is being controlled by the cult of the Watchers, and the Union. The Watchers are giant infants, and they serve as the instruments of human extinction. The seals are barriers that keep the world intact from total chaos. If all seals are broken, the world will end. Now, what I mean how these characters are fucked up and weird, Caim's sister is a good example, Furiai. You see, Furiai, like any good sister, loves Caim, her brother. Right? Oh, that kind of love. Okay. Well, I'll dive into that later when I talk about Furiai, but that's a basic summary of the story, but I'll get on to that more later. But right now, I want to talk about the gameplay of Drakengard. It's been a well-known fact that the gameplay of Drakengard, the ground combat at least, is really bad and isn't the strong suit of this game. The game tries to be Dynasty Warriors, like literally, compare it. The combat feels stiff and sluggish and boring. Throughout the game, you're killing hundreds, thousands, millions of soldiers and even child soldiers. Yeah. But I actually see it as a way of Caim expressing how he feels in the game. The combat being repetitive and bad is kind of a reflection of Caim as a character. You see, Caim is a character who is filled with rage, and most of that animosity stems towards his hatred for dragons, the very thing that he's forced to make a pact with. The reason why Caim hates dragons so much is because his parents were killed by dragons, and when killing enemies on the ground as Caim, you are senselessly killing people. And I guess that's what Caim must feel. There's also a kill count on the bottom right on the game, showing you how many people you've killed. Just something like that I think adds more depth into the game and Caim as a character. The gameplay feeling bad and sluggish is a direct feeling into what Caim feels throughout the game. He doesn't care about anybody or anything, besides maybe his sister Furia and Angelus and maybe Inuart. And I guess what I'm trying to say is that when the player is mindlessly killing enemies, not really caring about what's happening, you're directly feeling what Caim feels when he kills people. He just wants to save his sister, and he'll kill whatever is in front of him. Now, is Caim a sociopath? It's widely debated whether or not he is, but in my opinion, yes, he is a psychopath and a sociopath. He has a bloodlust bigger than any other character I've ever seen before. He lacks remorse, and the only emotions we really see him display is anger. And to top it off, he's mute, which makes him even more crazier. He even repeatedly stabs a soldier, already dead, but letting his anger and bloodlust take over him.
Caim! It's enough. He's dead. Full of bloodlust as always.
Although Caim does show some character growth in the game. He grows a relationship with Angelus, his dragon. He even goes far to calm her down when Angelus asks him to. And Caim does deeply love her sister, but not the way Furia does. Let's just point that out there. Furia is the only family Caim has, so if she dies, Caim lives left all alone in a world where he can slay and kill anyone without purpose. Caim is also friends with Inuart, a character that Caim became friends with since childhood. And I think a great scene where we can see growth in Caim as a character is in the first ending of Drakengard, ending A.
I have never seen you weep before.
This is by far my favorite scene in the entire game. It really does show how Caim has just really grown as a character, and although he's not the best person in the game, he's definitely a character that I can, I guess, kind of relate to. I won't lie, there are moments where I am pretty angry about a lot of things, but I'm not like killing people, which is, let's just get that out there. But hey, anyways, overall, I think this scene is really great. I love how, Angelus reveals her name to Caim, and that song that plays in the background is just so good. Caim is not a good person. In fact, I don't think anyone in this game can be considered morally good, but I guess Caim is the least problematic character. Yeah, I don't know. I guess, bro. The definition of a simp in the Urban Dictionary is someone who does way too much for a person they like. Brian Shu, the simp. I bought her a car and a whole ass house and we not even dating. Nathan the pimp, you a simp. That's pretty funny. Well, that's Inuart. Inuart's interesting. He's a character that doesn't do too bad, I guess, but he is a coward and a character that makes you shake your head and say, why, man? Inuart's motivations stem from his undying love for Furia. It's stated that she is his betrothed, but Furia really isn't interested in Inuart because she's in love with Caim, her brother. Oh god. Inuart is jealous, envious of Caim. He is strong and he has strength beyond Inuart. He's basically constantly at war in his mind with being somewhat better to Caim. The way Inuart expresses his emotions, and I guess the thing that makes him interesting, is his harp. The harp is something important to Inuart as a character. The harp is the only way he can express himself and it's integral to him. Inuart really isn't a bad guy. In fact, I think a lot of people who are hopelessly in love can relate to Inuart. He's deeply in love with Furia, but is at odds with himself for not having the strength to protect Furia. Strength like Caim. Inuart is an insecure character, and most of his insecurities stem towards not being like Caim. But with the harp, he can really express himself in an artistic way, which is the very reason why he becomes a character that makes you say, dude, come on. And you're pretty much the only normal character in this game. In the story, Inuart's whole goal is to protect Furia, but he gets kidnapped and tortured verbally by a watcher and is manipulated.
If only I had more strength.
If only I had more strength, then I could protect Furia.
Who's there?
I could protect her and make her my own.
Stop it!
Take her in my arms, surrender her to no man, my betrothed. She shall love only me.
Please stop!
All mine, Furia, all mine, all mine, all mine. No man can have her, No man, not even Caim.
No! No more!
Loves only me, looks only to me, holds only me. Friai loves only me. Me. Forgive me. Deeply, deeply. Please forgive me. Gaze only on me. Please, gaze upon me.
The Watcher that is talking to Inuart is Mana, a little girl possessed by the Watchers. In this scene, it's incredibly dark. The Watcher is bombarding Inuart with his insecurities, and this is honestly really sad. Inuart really isn't much of a bad person. He becomes a knight out of good intentions. He deeply loves Furiai and wishes to be better and stronger for her, and although a psychopath, does appreciate Caim for saving him and values their friendship. With the Watcher tormenting and manipulating Inuart, he decides to form a pact with the dragon in exchange for his songs, his singing. He gives up the very thing that made him able to carry on. His harp is no longer needed, for his songs have been turned into nothing, and now Inuart has strength even beyond Caim. We also learn that the dragon Inuart made a pact with was the very same dragon that killed Caim's parents. After his pact, he becomes corrupted, his eyes glow a dark red, and he takes Furiai off with him to a castle where, unfortunately, Furiai kills herself, and well, Inuart goes insane.
Furiai, but I did it for you. I did it all for you, and yet I could not even sing for you. Was this all for myself? Did I kill you?
La 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 la, la 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 la. Watchers dance. Such fun.
The Watchers dance. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. The Watchers, they dance.
The question you may have is, why did Furiai kill herself? She kills herself because the Watcher exposes Furiai's feelings for Caim. She's filled with shame and resentment. The wordless rejection from Caim over the years they've known each other drives her to kill herself. But it's not just her feelings for Caim that made her want to kill herself. She was chosen at the age of 13 to become the goddess, and because of the death of her parents, she grew an incestual love for Caim that she knows is wrong, but she couldn't help herself. Inuart's stupidity doesn't end there though. In ending B of Drakengard, Inuart cannot cope with Furiai being dead, so he decides to use the seeds of resurrection to bring her back to life. Instead of bringing her back to life, it turns her into this angelic, deformed monster and kills Inuart in the end. The one thing that he loved, his betrothed, his motivation, his light, ended up killing him. The one thing that he wanted to save was the one thing that killed him in the end. In the end, Caim picks up his dead sister and watches monsters that look like Furiai sprouting into the air, and it's a sight that makes me feel really uncomfortable. Inuart's story is a Romeo and Juliet gone horribly wrong. What can we learn from him though? Well, love is something that can drive anyone crazy. He lets his insecurities take over him. It clouded his life, and because of that, he never matured or grew up. He sought for strength to be better like Caim. He became someone that wasn't him. In the end, Inuart doesn't grow as a character, and I think that's rather fitting for someone like Inuart. The song you're hearing is one of my favorites in this game, the title of that being Leonard's Hunger, which is very fitting for Leonard as a character. Leonard is one of the most disgusting characters I have ever seen in a video game, which is the very reason why I want to talk about him. Leonard is one of the playable characters in Drakengard. While Leonard is in a forest, his younger brothers are killed by soldiers of the Empire. But what was Leonard doing in the forest? Now, this is where I talk about one of the things I listed in the beginning of the video. This might make you feel really uncomfortable, so I suggest you skip over this part if you don't want to hear this. I'll leave the timestamps in the description below. The reason why Leonard was in the forest is because he was masturbating to the thought of children. Leonard is a pedophile. When he finds his younger brothers dead, he's heartbroken and filled with sadness and guilt for what kind of man he is and the fact that he wasn't able to protect his younger brothers. Leonard decides to kill himself, but not before a fairy interacts with him and taunts him.
Loser! Loser! But seriously, let's do it! A pact! Please! Please!
The fairy tells him to kill himself, mocking him and taunting him for his disgusting desires. And honestly, the fairy is right. Leonard is the type of person that you want dead. People like him do not deserve a second chance in life. But moving on, Leonard decides to make a pact with the fairy in exchange for his eyesight, a humiliating yet fitting exchange for him. It's important to know that the Western release of Drakengard doesn't explicitly say that Leonard is a pedophile, but Yoko Taro himself and the Drakengard novels explain why he's the way he is, and yeah, he is a pedophile. The Japanese release was very vague and didn't go into detail, and all we really get in the Western release is him saying sorry, please forgive me, and the fairy talking about his secret. Unlike characters like Caim and Inuart, where I can kind of relate to them, hence that's why I'm able to talk about them, I cannot say the same for Leonard. He is a disgusting piece of human filth, and I simply cannot sympathize with him. Although, that doesn't mean he's not written well. He's one of the best written characters in the game. I like the fact that he has to give up his eyes. That alone symbolizes the disgusting aspect of Leonard. The fact that he can't help himself whenever he sees a child is horrifying, and unfortunately, people like Leonard do exist, and it's a fucking shame. And every time you see Leonard with a child, it makes me feel really uncomfortable. Like, dude, get the fuck away from him, dude. Leonard, get the fuck out! On the outside, Leonard is kind and seems like a good person, but the inside, he has something dark and twisted in him. These desires are the reason why he gives up his eyes. It's a bit ironic. Another character that is on the same level as Leonard is Arioch. She's another character that we get to play as well, and she's had it rough. Her husband and son were killed by the Empire, which causes her to be very mentally ill, and she's very fucked up in the head. She makes a pact with two elemental creatures, and in exchange for that pact, she gives up her womb. Why, you may ask? Well, that's because she has a taste for human blood, and yearns for a child. And if she can't have one, she'll eat one. And oh wait a minute. What's this?
Arioch! What are you doing?
The greatest of feasts.
Oh. Alright. Well, there you go. Okay. Here's the thing about Drakengard. In the game, we're not directly told what kind of people these characters are, what their motivations are. In Leonard's case, if you really want to know more about him, you'd have to piece the puzzles together, reading interviews with Yoko Taro, reading the novels, and the same can be said for pretty much all the characters in this game. Now, keep in mind, Caim has developed bonds with these characters, and yourself, in a way, either when you're using the characters for combat or if you're just interested in their story, which is my case. But once you learn the horrible things these characters have done, it makes you say in your head, is there really a point in saving the world? Maybe Midgard would be better off if we let the Watchers rule over it since it's already fucked up. And for those reasons, the characters, the stories, those two reasons are one of the major reasons as to why I wanted to make a video on Drakengard. To me, Drakengard is a reflection of all the bad in the world. People like Caim exist, murderers who feel no remorse for whom they kill. Inuart lets his thoughts take over his head, which leads him to insanity. Leonard is a piece of human trash disguised as an upstanding citizen. Arioch's trauma causes her to hunger for children. The sad reality is that nobody makes them do these things. It's their own doing and their own choices that end up shaping them. And well, Drakengard to me is a game that takes all the bad traits of the world and puts it into one game. It dared to push that boundary of what you could do in video games, and in doing so, Yoko Taro created one of the most unique, interesting, disgusting, but realistic masterpiece ever told in gaming. It's truly one of a kind, and I hope Square Enix decides to port the Drakengard trilogy onto modern consoles, and hopefully, when Square Enix is out of their reboot phase, Yoko Taro can finally work on the fourth NieR game, or even the fourth Drakengard game. And that is the video done. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really wanted to make a video on Drakengard. I had played NieR Automata the past summer. I never finished it though, and I'm like, as of right now, I'm on like Route C, but I am playing through Replicant, and I kind of got pulled back into the world of Drakengard and NieR, and just, you know, the stories that Yoko Taro makes. And I gotta say, like, Drakengard is just, I think it's so fucking good. Like, I love Drakengard. You're not gonna find a story as fucked up but realistic as Drakengard, and that's what I love about it. Like, Yoko Taro is just a master at storytelling when it comes to like having these really complex themes, and being able to push that boundary. Like, even like Replicant goes pretty far, and I just think Drakengard 1 is truly, I don't know if it's underrated. I would still consider, like, to me, I still consider NieR to be pretty niche. Like, before NieR Automata, Drakengard was known, but like it wasn't like mainstream. It didn't have a big fandom, but it had a cult following. NieR Replicant didn't actually sell that well, and then obviously it got NieR Gestalt, then NieR Replicant. Those games didn't do well, but it still had a cult following because people loved Yoko Taro. And even though NieR Automata is the best selling in the whole Drakengard NieR franchise, it's still not. I still consider NieR and Drakengard pretty niche, even though NieR Automata is so popular when it comes to crossovers, animes. It's still not on the level of, like, say, Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy, and Dragon Quest, as those are Square Enix's 3 major IPs. But NieR has this big cult following, which I personally think deserves a 4th game. And even Drakengard, I really want Drakengard and NieR to be well known. It is just it's such a masterpiece. Like, I'm going on a tangent. I'm just rambling. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'm not really sure what this video is. I guess it's kind of like a recap of the characters. But yeah, I really wanted to make a video on Drakengard. So yeah, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys when I upload my next video.